presenting Emilio, the Honey Badger Urrutia.
I'm JP Mestanza. Now here's the news you need to know.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Welcome to the Honey Badger Hour, UFC 260 preview. Today we are joined with our special guest, Trevin 5-Star Jones. What's happening, brother? Welcome to the Honey Badger Hour.
Woo! I'm here, finally here. It took a while, dog. Took a while.
Oh man, hey, so 5-Star, tell us, let the fans know how's it going, my man. Straight representing Guam. You're getting ready now for your second UFC appearance after an absolutely phenomenal UFC debut on 1 week notice. Oh my God. What was it like when you got that call, brother?
It was good. Actually, it was 34 hours notice, my G, but it was great. It was great, man. It was great. You know, Tamir's a really talented opponent. He had his way with me, they say, in the first round, but I wasn't taking the regular route. I hear a lot of commentators say this guy don't want to go into the second round, this guy don't want to go into the third round because it's late notice, but I played it in reverse on that fight. I saved my energy till his energy got down to my energy, and then I decided to fight back, and that was the plan. So all the shots and everything he was getting off, yes, he got me with a nice body kick, but I wanted him to get his energy real low, and we saw that he'll get tired, so I played it in reverse, opposite of what the cornerman what the commentators usually say. They usually say he needs to get it done early, but that's not true. We knew I was tough, and we knew I'll take it and trip him out, and then we'll put it on him in later rounds. That was the plan. So, man, I'm great right now. This fight, I get to go out and with a full camp and let them know that it wasn't a fluke, and that's who I really am, and that's what I'm about.
Nice.
Man, I was so excited when I saw your name get mentioned for the UFC debut. I was so pumped for you, man, because it's one thing, you know, there's always a lot of people are getting signed right now, but I know you're one of those guys that we've been waiting for a long time for this call. You know, we've talked about this before. We've trained together, come up in the ranks together, and I've seen you grinding in PXC. You got the big, you know, you got the PXC title at bantamweight. You got the TFC title in Korea. You got the big win in when you fought in ACA, did you fight in Russia or did you just fight
in Russia? I fought in Russia, all the way in Grozny, Russia. Deep in Russia.
Damn.
All the way in Grozny.
And you got to fight in Japan too, right? You got to the UFC.
Got to fight in Japan, got to fight in Korea. Yep, got to fight in a lot of good places to get the experience from everywhere. So a lot of these guys that I'm fighting now in the UFC, yeah, they're talented. They got good coaches and good teams, but I feel they don't got the experience. They never had to travel and fight people in their hometown, especially in Asia when the crowd only cheers for their guy. Like, you can do 10 things good and you hear nothing, and they can, like, throw a punch by your face and they're like, ooh, and they're getting all crazy. So, you know, we had the tougher ride on that side of town, and I truly believe that our side is a lot more tougher. And you're dealing with guys that actually have martial arts background, not just Americans that think they're tough and they can fight and go out there. You're dealing with guys that have martial arts backgrounds, coaches that are not first-degree fighters in their family. Like, they grew up through fighting, so they're already teaching their kids something, whether their kid wants to do it or not. They still have some skills in the background. So I think our side of town is a lot harder with the martial arts being real martial arts around the area, more than Americans that just want to fight and thinking they can fight people and beat people up and jump in there early, you know? So I think our side's a lot harder.
Well, I think exposing yourself to so much of, so like just seeing the world in that sense. And I mean, I think it's built up an ability for you to kind of not get frazzled easily. And you definitely displayed that in your debut.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate that. Yes, that's a part of my game I always like. A lot of times I come out, I wrestle guys, so you don't get to see my durability. But at the end of the day, when I train with my training partners, we always knew I had that durability in me, and I ain't gonna break easy. So, you know, I was glad to show that part of my game. Everyone was like a comeback of the year, and at first I don't like the sound of a comeback of the year, but at the end of the day, I got to show a different part of the game, durability part, a part that most people don't have. The reason why they call it comeback of the year, and the reason why they gave me the bonuses because most guys would have cracked to that. And, you know, I take from not cracking to that, and I like it. So I'll take it.
Nah, and Trev, I know this guy I train. You know, it's funny. This guy was supposed to fight a previous PXC champion, Mark Striegel. I think you replaced Mark Striegel, right?
I replaced Mark Striegel, yes.
It's such a small world, because I remember seeing this card. I trained with this kid in Tiger. This kid's a beast, man. This kid's no joke, bro. Like, you took a tall order on your UFC debut, man. So I'm really excited for your next fight, because the caliber of guy that you already beat, man, it's no joke, bro. You know?
Yeah, I hear it everywhere. I train at a Extreme Couture right now. He trains there. He knows all the coaches. They know I beat a guy that was no joke. That's how when I go over there and train now, they're like, wow, Trevin, you are good, because they see me working out and they see my moves, they see my skills, they see me in the groove, and now they're like, wow, man, they don't. I know they know that I have the skills to do it, because they watch me spar, they watch me train. So I'm just happy to go out there in this fight and display another line of toughness. But I think my skills and my overall game, I'll be able to push the pace and show it now. So I don't even think we're gonna get there, man. I think it's gonna be a nice fight for me. I really do. I'm not taking him lightly or anything, but I just, like you said, where I'm coming from with Tamir and everything, Tamir's just on another level from some of these guys, and I know that. Like, I watch the fight and I give him props. No matter if I was 34 hours or not, I'm like, dang, he was quick. I'm giving him props on everything, but I also got to look at myself that I took all of that, and I know how I felt out there. Like, going into that fight, my legs were so heavy. To make that weight in 34 hours, 16 pounds, and have like 10 doctor's appointments, eye exam, EKG, lay in a CAT scan for 3 hours, blood work, like all in different spots across Vegas while making weight in 34 hours. It was just another level of experience to gain. Like, they called me Wednesday around 7 o'clock, and the weigh-ins was Friday morning at 9 o'clock. So that's 7 o'clock p.m. they called me. I got to the gym like around 7:45 and started cutting weight since. And, you know, just the weight cut alone process, and knowing that I have to fight a guy like that the next day was just, it was grueling, man. It was. So I'm taking all that experience into this fight.
Hey, and you know what my favorite, just really quick on that last fight, just because we haven't talked in a while, man. One of my favorite things, and I remember I messaged you right after, was your post-fight speech. Your post-fight speech was so good. And I know that we've spoken a lot on your fight IQ, you know, and I know that we both pride ourselves on our fight IQ, and I know you really pride yourself on your fight IQ. But that was my favorite part of that fight, was when your post-fight speech, and you're talking about, like, yo, when you were talking about how you weathered the storm, how you knew to just relax, and you were talking to yourself, you know, you said, yo, just relax, it's a body shot, get through this, and you came out in the second round really hard, man. That was, I mean, talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, and you also like that part when they're like, you know, the kid was 16-2, and I was 12-6, and I'm just like, it was 18 fights versus 18 fights. That's all it was, you know. I wasn't looking at all that. That's 18 fights versus 18 fights, you know. I have 5 split decision losses in those 6 losses, you know. So I fought in Asia, and I believe I'm 18-1, man. Like, I don't care what anybody says, and that's the point that made me never give up, because at the end of the day, I go home, I watch these fights, I'm like, there's no way I lost that fight. I don't care what the judges say. I'm going to keep working. And I hear my people say, keep your head up. And, you know, so when I went out there, it was 18 fights versus 18 fights. That's all I saw. I didn't see a 16-2 opponent. I didn't see anything. And I didn't have time for that, man. I was just focused on making that weight and just going out there and fight with him. You know, I didn't have time to prepare. I didn't have time to worry about what he does good. I just went out there to fight. I didn't watch him move until fight day. And then I saw him. I knew he was good, because all my coaches and them watched him already. They're like, okay, you have a tough fight. Because at first they thought it was Mark Striegel, and then they know Mark Striegel likes to wrestle and stuff. But my boy trained with Mark Striegel a couple times, and he knew I had the submissions to. If he makes a mistake, it'll be good. But when they saw Tamir and how fast he was, they're like, okay, you got a tough fight tomorrow. You got a fair fight tomorrow. Then I'm like, it's all good. It's all good. So, yeah, man, it's great, man. That post-fight interview was good. I was just out there telling the truth. Telling how I really felt, man. When you're in this game, we don't look for anything to be easy anymore, man. It's a tough sport. All the high-level pros know it. I watch a lot of interviews, and I steal things from guys when they talk about how rough it is, how GSP talks about he's scared every fight. Like, I pick up on all these things, and I put the pieces together. So, you know, I'm not feeling anything that anyone else isn't feeling. So by that, I'm able to go out there and just fight, man. Like, it's the fight game. It's nerve-wracking, but at the end of the day, you have to hold it all together and go out there and fight, and that's the only thing I'm focused on right now.
That's beautiful, man. Yo, what's in the water in Guam? What is it about Guam that breeds such tough fighters and great fighters?
Guam has a lot of ego problems over there. So, you know, every gym, everywhere I go to, you know, people are trying to challenge you. And at the end of the day, I don't consider it as challenging me. They're pushing me, you know, because I'm the kind of guy that go to all the gyms on Guam. Not everyone on Guam does that. Like, I go to all the gyms. I train at all the gyms, especially where I'm at now. I go there and, you know, I could have trained resting here at 12 o'clock in the afternoon and go over here and spar. By being new partners, they don't see that I just wrestled at 12 in the morning, so they're going just as hard as I wrestled. So I'm doubling up and tripling up on trainings, and they're just making me better like that, man. So I'm good with it, man. I put myself in that position, and even when my partners are not on my level, I'll run before training. I'll do something tough to make them tough, you know. There's a lot of ways you can work to make your training partners good, you know. So I'm very good at finding good training. I'm very good at finding good guys to work with, and I'm very good at making training hard for myself, you know, whether I have to run or work out or do something extra before training starts. If my opponents are not on that level, like, I'm very good at that. And it's all through experience, man. All through experience. I've been studying and watching and picking up other guys. And when it's something I like, I take it and I add it in my arsenal right away.
Nice, man. Hey, now, what was your first martial art that you got involved with?
Jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu. How did you get involved in jiu-jitsu?
So after football, my gym that I trained at, they were like, man, you got to come to the jiu-jitsu gym. You're pretty tough, man. You got to come train with us. So I went over to jiu-jitsu gym and I started training. My coach, they actually brought in a Brazilian. So I started with my coach that I'm here with right now in my hotel. He was the Brazilian that they flew in, Marcelo Nunes. And I was training with him twice a day, 3 times a day. And I got promoted to blue belt in like 5 months. And then right after I got promoted to blue belt, I flew to Japan and I did the Japan Open. Then I got 3rd place at white belt. Then I came back home, I got promoted to blue belt. And this was only like 5 months into training. And then they signed me up for my first amateur fight, like, right away. And in that 5 months, I'll help out the pros that are fighting, like Kyle Rages, Alex. I'll help out those guys for their wrestling rounds or for their MMA gloves, and we clinch up, and then we go full groundwork with GP and everything. I helped them out, and they're like, man, you do good in this. So when I got that blue belt, I came back. They already had that amateur fight set up for me. Like, I didn't ask for it. They just had it set up, and then I fought. Then I won, man. And I fought a guy that was like 5-0 as an amateur. He already was supposed to go pro. And I beat him. And then I fought another amateur that was also supposed to go pro, also undefeated. And I stole their spot of going pro. They were supposed to go pro, then I ended up going pro, only 2-0 as an amateur. And yeah, man, I just kept working ever since. And I remember my first amateur fight, I was so nervous and I was throwing up in the back. And then my friend came up to me, one of my closest friends, he came up to me, he said, Trev, no matter how you feel, this won't be your last fight. He said, no matter how you feel right now, you better suck it up because this ain't your last fight. And right after when he told me that, man, I stopped throwing up and I felt so good, so confident. It just wiped everything away, man. So I thank you, Nick Casares, for that. That was one of the most motivating things I heard when I first started, man. He just told me, like, you're good at this. This ain't your last fight. And to see me here now, it's like, wow, you're right, Olga, you're right.
Wow, man, that's crazy. And so how long you been training? And when did you get your black belt? You got your black belt after how many years training did you get your black belt?
I got my black belt after training. I got my black belt in 7 years. So 7 years, wow, I got my black belt.
Yeah.
I got my black belt in 2017, April. So I'm coming up on 3 years as a black belt now. April this year, make 3 years as a black belt.
Wow. And hey, did you feel that, like, after you got your black belt, did you feel the difference in the level of training? Like, did you feel like that did it make your jiu-jitsu better? Like, you feel that pressure after putting on that black belt, like on the mats training?
So I have a regular take of that and a reverse take. So when I was fighting all these MMA fights, I was never full-time MMA. I never got to do complete MMA. So at the end of the day, I always knew like I'm getting these big wins over these big opponents, but my game is not even like MMA focused. Because every time a fight ended, I'll put on the gi because I'm trying to earn my black belt, and that's what my gym's about. They're about the gi. So finally, when I got promoted to black belt, I actually got to put the gi down. So right now, I feel so much better in my MMA game and my IQ because I've been training MMA for actually a year and like 2 months straight now, pure MMA. Barely did gi. I do gi sometimes, but I barely did it. But yeah, what you're saying about the gi, it definitely purple belt, brown belt, blue belt. I was so competitive, man. Like I don't want to lose to nobody in the gi. Like I'll fight you to death. You can have me in a choke. I hold it long. But when I became a black belt, man, I became like I just mellowed out, and I was able to elevate my game in a different way. Not by going hard and being the toughest guy in the room, but by actually like just, you know, if you get tapped out or whatever, you know, there's other hungry guys. It's cool. So my flow state as a black belt and my moves and everything is like, it's a lot better. Although when I trained as a blue belt, purple belt, I went so much harder and used so much energy and was so locked in on not losing. But right now I'm like, as a black belt, like I already got this sense, like you learn everything, Trev, you know what you're doing. So I'm very calm about the sport now. I can do so many rounds. I can still turn that guy on, but I leave that guy off for the most part in training because I grow more that way. I grow more by being in back positions that I never want to be in. I grow more sometimes maybe turtling down and get my back. And now I get to learn how to get out of the back take now where when a guy passes your guard, you don't want to even turtle down because you know what's going to come after that. So you don't get to elevate your game. As a black belt, I take all these options now. I give my back, oh, you're a black belt, you can get out. Boom, I get out now. Where during a purple belt, I want to hold the position. I want to be strong. I don't want to lose at all. So it definitely opened my game up in a different way. And like I said, it's a reverse. Purple belt, brown belt, I worked very hard, and I guess I was working for something. So it was like all about pro harder, going hard. But at black belt, like I could turn that guy on if I want. If it's a tough training or I see someone that wants to smoke, we could turn it on. But for the most part, when I'm training, it's a nice like 75%, turn it up in bursts, but a lot of movement and a lot of knowing what positions I'm in now. So I'm about that, understanding the game a lot more, because the more I understand, when I do turn that guy on, I can do more too, instead of always being that purple belt Trev that don't want to get in these positions or are afraid to get in these positions. And then when a guy do get you in those positions, you're in panic mode or whatever. So right now I got all my positions down, whether they're a bad position or not. I'm believing it.
Nice, man. And have you been a coach? You've been a coach for a long time, right? Because you got the Vita Jiu-Jitsu in Guam, and then you also do your cross training in Drysdale, or now you're in training in America. Where are you training now full time? Extreme Couture?
So I train at Drysdale and I go for Extreme Couture. But man, honestly, I've been going Drysdale since white belt. I went to Drysdale every year of my jiu-jitsu career. I never missed a year. So every year I trained there, and I did the world's camps, some of the toughest camps in the world, where every Zenit affiliate end up there, and we go hard for 2 months straight. That definitely elevated my game too, because I tried out all the toughest Zenit guys already. Like the world champions now that are winning, I've been rolling these guys at purple belts, man. Like I've been rolling these guys hard at purple belts, and no one knows this. Like I have a hidden little secret about me that really no one knows. And in my UFC debut, I didn't even show my ground and stuff. So I got some stuff to show this fight. I'm gonna break out the technique, bro.
So this is gonna be the jiu-jitsu Trev, this fight.
Like I said, I got to work on a lot of MMA more than ever. So like honestly, I like my hands and I like my movement too. I like that part too, because I like it because I always went to jiu-jitsu and stuff. Maybe because it was my base, man. We're jiu-jitsu guys, and we go to that base, especially when we feel uncomfortable or threatened by another guy. But right now, like I feel good everywhere. I've been sparring really good guys, man, really good guys, and I've been doing excellent, bro. And I've been training this whole camp small, bro. 134, 135, sparring with 165-pound 35ers or 45ers, and I've been doing well on the strength, on the technique, everywhere. So I'm real confident in this fight, man. If they didn't get me a new replacement in this fight, I would have been upset, because I'm ready to go, man, honestly. And although those nerves come back every blue moon, you can't control it. My body's setting it down real quick. Like when it does come, my body's like, nope, you're ready. Nope, it shuts it down real quick. So I'm ready to go for this fight for sure.
Yeah. Hey, did you feel like a little extra nerves when you were getting now? So with your first UFC fight, you didn't really have much time to think about it. You know, it's like boom, boom, go, go, medicals. Next thing you know, you're in the cage. But now I know for this fight, I remember you had a few opponent changes, right? With the COVID, it's crazy.
Yeah,
huh?
no, my opponent didn't even have COVID. He didn't even announce why he pulled out. I know he had COVID before the fight, so it wasn't a COVID related pullout. But yeah, I got a new opponent a month ago, and they didn't have a guy for me. My opponent pulled out a month ago, but I didn't get a guy till 3 weeks ago. So I'm pretty sure this opponent knew right then and there, and probably didn't accept it for a week. Made sure he felt good. But yeah, he has 2 training partners on the card. I know them. I know these 2 training partners too. They're from the MMA lab, and you know I watched this kid fight. He's very tough. He's gritty. He's the Mexican style striker, but like I said, I just don't think he has the experience across the board that we have fighting just monsters from like not even 10 fights pro yet, and we're still fighting monsters, bro. Not even like, you know, just getting started in our career, and we're fighting monsters, bro. So, you know, that's where I think it's going to be the difference in this fight. You know, when the going gets tough in there, I got that grit to dig because I've been there before, you know. Not like some of these guys taking hand-picked fights and they go 8-0, 9-0, 10-0. When you look up their record, their opponents barely got wins. So I see it like that. Although he could be good, and he could be good, but I'm just saying that's a big favor for me. Like, you don't want to show me that because I get confident off that because I know you haven't been in there with gritty guys back to back. Like, I've been in there with gritty guys back to back. I've been in bad positions, and I've, you know, overcome bad positions versus very talented guys. So at the end of the day, I'm still going to move in those bad positions. I'm still going to work my game in those bad positions. And the moment you get tired, I think I'm capitalizing because, you know, I've worked on this. I've worked on hanging in there and then them getting tired and then the gears shift. That's a big part of my game. I worked on it. I know the gears shift in there. I know and I know certain things that happen. I know when you wrestle a guy, I know how tired even the guy winning and wrestling can be going into rounds because I fought those styles before, you know. I know how strikers can lose to wrestlers. Like, I know the way the cards go now. I just got everything in my mind and it's planned out correct. And if I go out there and I be the best Trev, like, it's gonna be a great fight for me.
Yeah. Hey, how long you been in Vegas now? Did you do some training in Guam and then you came? I forgot. It's hard to keep up, man. You've been all over. So you were in Vegas and then you went back home. I was in Vegas.
I was in Vegas for 3 weeks. I went home for 3 weeks. Then I came back to Vegas to finish off the last like 3 weeks and a half. Yes. Yeah, because Guam's just really hot. It's good for me to get my weight low. It's good for me to have my regimen down. When I came out here the first time, I already went with all these tough guys, got hard sparring in, felt them out, everything, boom, feeling good. I said, okay, you're good already. Now it's time to go home and get that weight where you want it to be, get that regimen where you want it to be, get that drilling where you could just call up the boys right away because it was prime COVID. You know, you can't really train like you want to train, especially in random places where you just end up. But when I go home, you know, we got that gym key. We call the boys up. We tell who to show up. We ask them, you know, nicely, can you show up? You know, it's an important day. The boys show up. We work on whatever I want to work on. We get that game plan down, you know, and we call in the toughest guys in all aspects of the sport on Guam. So, you know, that's the benefit that I have on Guam. You know, 15-minute drive to the gym, 15-minute drive to this gym, 15-minute drive to that gym, not far away at all. So that's the benefit I have over there. So I went home, got the regimen down, got the game plan down, got the weight down, and I said, okay, let's fly back out, and then we'll go with those guys that are smaller size and see if everything came out well. And honestly, I feel great, man. I already made weight today, like I said. I'm a day and a half early, which is great. Before I used to want to be the biggest guy in there. I want to cut the weight kind of late so I can bulk up big and I can still have my weight on fight day because my game plan was to wrestle. But now I don't care. I don't care to be the smallest guy in there. Like I said, I believe in my skills now. When I'm a smaller guy, I just have to use a different part of my tool set to win the fight, you know, and I believe I have those tool sets, you know. Light on your feet, throw them hands, throw them kicks, mix it in with the wrestling, outwork him, move more, you know, get it done in different ways. Before I wanted to be big and thick because my game plan was to wrestle, but right now I just believe I'm on the right level everywhere. So being a small guy and cutting the weight correct and going into that weight cut small already and being hydrated is much more important to me, especially on the UFC level. You know, I want to perform, I want to move, I want to have energy, so I'm good with that.
Yeah, you want to now after 10 years in the game, you can really rely on your skill set to get the job done, so you don't have to worry about imposing so much power and will on the wrestling,
Yeah.
I think it's nice to be, I think it's always good to be nice and light, agile, mobile, like remember the Titans, agile, mobile.
It's exactly the same thing with that jiu-jitsu
Hostile.
experience we're talking about. It's exactly the same thing with that jiu-jitsu experience we're talking about. Like purple belt, you're still gaining your experience. Yes, you're technical. Yes, you're good. But you're still gaining that full experience because you see that black belt across the gym for you and you know he's good. Or you see guys you look up to and you know they're good. So you say, okay, I'm not on a level yet. So you're still pushing it too hard. Even on days you don't got to push it, you're pushing it too hard. It's the same thing like those earlier fights. You might be better than the guy, but you don't got the experience to notice that yet because this guy's down to fight you. So you're pushing it hard and pushing it hard. Now I'll determine when I want to push it hard or play technical or whatever because I got the experience and skill set now. So yeah, it's the same thing. It's just experience, man. You get the experience with the same work ethic, then you have a good fighter, When you get the experience and you think you have to work less, that's when you got a problem. But I'm not working less at all.
Yeah. And hey, it's cool? You're the first fight of the night, so you know exactly when you fight, right?
Yes, I know exactly when I fight, 3 p.m. I was the first fight of the night last time, too, I was saying on Guam, I was always like main event or last. So it was very different to be first fight of the night now. And I always said I wanted to be first before. Like, I want to be first. I want to get it over with. But like I said, everything plays its part, man. There's experience of both worlds, I was just telling my cornerman when I was in a jacuzzi today, I'm like, it is a little different to go first, It's like you got those nerves. Like when I make it up to the card and I get those later fights, I already have that experience to sit there and wait. So that's already developed. So now they're giving me something even extra to add in my game. If I have to fight first, they're letting me build stronger and get stronger. They're letting me feel it. So I'm like, okay, it's not that it's different. It's like they're giving me something different to gain, giving me something different to teach, So everything's a little experience from every angle. Usually I'm late. Now I'm early. No problem. It's another experience in my career, and we'll just take it like that.
And so your first fight last time you fought in the Apex Center last time, right? In Vegas?
Yes.
How do you like the no crowd?
Man, honestly, like you said, it was so late and everything. I wasn't focused on the crowd or anything at all. But the no crowd, man, honestly, when I fight, I don't see the crowd. I don't hear the crowd. Like, I'm in my zone. When I get in there, you got the cage lights. Everything's black around. It's the same thing, bro. I don't see it for me. Some people need the crowd to fight. Some people need the crowd to yell some moves out to hit it. But not me, man. I fight the same way every time. And, I never see the crowd. So I'm cool with that.
Nice, man. Nice, brother. Oh, man. We're pumped to see it, man. You're going to end. What's cool? You're going to, look at the card. You got a lot of familiar people. You got Kai Kara on the France.
Yes, I just
PXC veterans.
I just ran
full circle, man.
I just ran to Kai today, so that was dope. We had a talk at the photo shoot, and that was dope. Yeah, we're like both giving, cheering each other on. Like, let's go. We both got it. That was nice. And when he first got on the card, he messaged me right away, like, I'm on the card 2G, and I'm like, that's sick, Yeah, man, our region came a long way, man. All you guys have, watching you guys being at ONE FC and everything, it's just motivated me, man. Like, I just stay focused and I just believe in myself and I know I could do it. And I always tell my boys and them, like, bro, my boy Emilio, when he took me to Tiger, that thing gave me a lot of experience too, man. And like, to go there by myself and be like, train hard and have no one at the hotel to like watch you and anything, it's a different learning experience too, man. Like, if I have my boys there and, you can mess around a little bit, you can, you'll be just a little bit more comfortable. Like, I was full uncomfortable. So it was all gains. It was no negative at all. Like, one time I went home and every day after that, when I go spar people and stuff, like, I can go hard now after that. Like, boom, we can go hard because just the level of experience that I gained just from being by myself and going home and being by myself and know I got to do that shit again tomorrow. Just, it's like I said, I look at these things and I take that experience from every single thing I do. And I've been to so many gyms around the world, man. Nobody don't know. Like, I've been to KTT and trained over there by myself. Walked up in there. I fought a couple of their guys. They're in there shark tanking me and junk. I don't care. Make me better. Make me better. Make me better. So it's cool. Like, I've been to a lot of gyms, man. Flew all the way to Minnesota. Been to American Top Team Atlanta. Go to Extreme Couture. And a lot more other gyms. So I've been places and I've been training and I go in there by myself and I just get my trains in and I do good all the time, man. So I take that confidence and I add on to it. And even if someone did get the best of me in that day, like, I know what position I put myself in. You know, I know I wasn't in my comfort zone, so I know it's all gains. Later on, when I'm going to fight another guy, I know he's in that same uncomfortable place as me, so I say, we're even, bro. Let's go. So it's a different fighter when you're fighting me across than me putting myself out of my comfort zone and stepping in your world. You know, you come to my gym, no one comes to my jiu-jitsu gym on Guam because it's tough. I'm telling you, all the jiu-jitsu guys, man, and I love the Guam boys. I go to all their gyms, but I've come to notice that they cannot come to my jiu-jitsu gym single-handedly because there's too much good guys in there and they're going to get work and they're afraid of that work. But I make sure I put myself in that position and feel that I go to all the gyms and I get the good work and I don't care the outcome. I'm just there to work and get better. And if I'm making you better, I'm there for that too. So everyone wins.
Yeah, man. Yo, when you finally made your UFC debut, you're one of the people I was super happy to see finally make it to the big show. You know, you had these big wins. You won the PXC title. You won the TFC title. We were thinking for a long time, like, yo, what the hell's going on? Dana White signed this man already, you know? So
yeah, man.
To see now, man, man, it fills my heart to see all my boys shining and to see all the guys that we came up with doing big things, man. You're on the same card you're on one of the biggest cards of the year now. You're gonna set it off. I know you're gonna get that big win, man. We can't wait to see.
Yes,
before we let you go,
the best thing about that fight, man. The best thing about that fight is I saw Mark Striegel get on the card. And I'm like, Mark Striegel's good. He has his skills and everything, but I'm like, this guy didn't win a title. In a way, I was like that. Like, man, I'm telling my manager, like, this guy didn't win a title. But it was all cool because I know Mark Striegel has his fan base. He has his skills. He has some big wins, too. So that one didn't bother me as much. And then I see other guys from my PXC undercard get on the card. And I'm a kind of guy that's like, that's his path. But when it started going deeper and deeper, and I see they're taking some guys that I know, like, I'll get in there and beat, man, I told my manager, like, man, now something's happening. And we had already spoke to Sean Shelby. They said I was trying to get on Contender Series so many times, but they're like, no, we won't take Trev for Contender Series. We'll call him when we have a fight for him. They wouldn't let me get on Contender Series. I guess they thought I had the experience already to not go on that. So I liked the part that they didn't want to put me on that, and they said they'll call me. But I'm like, when's this guy going to call me? So I saw like 2-3 guys from the PXC get in the UFC on a late notice. So I said, Trev, just like I flew to Thailand when I checked you, said, Trev, buy a ticket and fly out there tomorrow. You're going to get in. I bought my ticket, man. I got on a plane like 2 days later. Then I trained there I was training in Vegas for about like 10 days. Then I started to eat bad. I was training so hard. My weight was good, everything. Then I started to eat bad because I'm like, man, these guys are not going to call me. And then they end up calling me like right after I had a burger and a frap and all that. I'm like, they called me, bro. And they said, you know, and me and my boy already had a trip booked to Seattle. And it was summer. I just dyed my hair for Seattle. Everyone thinks I dyed my hair for the fight. I didn't. I dyed it because we were going to Seattle and get on some boats and hang out and have some fun. But, yeah, they called me. I called my friend up. I said, I told you they're going to call me. They called me. He said, stop lying. He flew it home. And the fight was on, man. And I went straight to the gym next door to his house. And I started working, man. And it's the day they called me, since the day I weighed in, I didn't drink or eat no water. Drink no water or eat no food, man. It was hectic, man. It was real tough. And then they do this eye exam, man, when they dilate your eyes. So the whole day before the weigh-ins, I'm all blind. I can't even see because they dilated my eyes. And it's like, oh, man, it was real rough, man. And I had so many appointments. And I'm just proud of myself, honestly, man. And my manager told me that the other day, man. He said, wow, Trev, I see all these guys getting fights on 1 week notice, 2 week notice, and they're fighting at 145, you know. Sean Shelby said, nope, you couldn't take anything but 140 pounds. And I had only 34 hours to weigh-ins, man. That's it. And, you know, I pushed myself to the limit, bro. It was insane. Like, I pushed myself to the limit, and, you know, it all paid off. And especially after this weekend, I'm going to look back on this and I'm going to say, there you go, Trev. You paid off, bro.
It's big things coming, man. I'm excited. All right, before we close the show, bro, because we don't want to take too much of your time. I know you're busy. Oh, sorry, JP.
No, I just want to say we got about 3 minutes left.
Oh, hey, Trev. All right, to close the show, we got 3 minutes left before they cut us. What advice would you give for any up-and-coming fighters? This is our favorite question. I love to ask the people, yo, you been in the game for any young up-and-coming fighters from Guam or take it from a veteran from you who's took the hard fights from the beginning, been in the game for a long time. What advice would you give for any up and coming fighters that want to get involved in this game? Any piece of tread any piece of 5-star that you can give to the fans or to the up and coming fighters?
So like me,
their career.
So I might contradict myself, but I'm gonna say like how I feel about it. I'm against the pros that are very talented already with 5-0 wins, 6-0 wins, 10-0 wins, and they're still picking on guys that are like, they know they could beat already. Like they're picking on these guys. So I would say for upcoming fighter, get your amateur fights in. I only have 2 amateur fights. I wish I had a longer amateur career at some point when I thought I wasn't gonna make it, and I'm actually here now. So I will take it the way I did it. Because, there was no shortcuts, man. It was tough. It's going to be tough, but there was no shortcuts. But I say get your amateur fights in. Get like 8 amateur fights, Take your time. It's not a race. It's a marathon, because once you're out of this sport, you're out of this sport. You're going to beat yourself up so much, Take your time. When you're in this sport and you got to grind all day, you don't get a lot of family time. You don't get a lot of girlfriend time. Everything's a little tough on the other side. But if you focus the right way, it'll all pay off at the end of the day. If you focus the right way and grind like you should, it'll all pay off at the end of the day. And like I said, it is not a race. Don't rush to be in the UFC. Don't rush to be at the top. I wanted to be at the UFC at 26. I know, Trev, if you would have got into UFC at 26, you were still a partier at that time. You could have probably went in, lost some fights, and got cut. At this 30-year-old age that I made it at, I just turned 30, I'm focused. I'm ready to be here. I'm ready to be here. I'm ready to be here. Like, I'll do whatever it takes. I can sacrifice. I can make weight better. I can diet better. I cannot go to the clubs. I cannot do anything because I'm at that right stage. So I wouldn't take it any other way. If I would have rushed and got here when I cried about being here, I would have probably been in and out because guys are good here. And, my focus wasn't like it is now. I'm laser focused now. So it's not a race, guys. It's a marathon. Take your time. Enjoy the process. Get your wins in and do it right. And then you'll have a successful career. Train with tough guys. Train with guys that are going to make you better. If you start beating these guys, go find new guys that are going to make you better. If you feel, and you also have